Okay, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So we're picking up where we left off. If you missed the last few classes, or what I recommend is going back and watching the recordings, because this is a complicated story and a fascinating story, but you have to stay with it. Here we go. Now I see lots of people rushing into class. I'll let everybody in. Okay. There we go. All right, everybody. So we're going to start by reviewing the premise of the story Anna and Somalia that we've been working on for the past week and a half. And I'm going to use the transcript. So remember, there's always a transcript that you can read as you listen and read at the same time. So if you are listening and you don't understand it, go back to the transcript, figure out what is going on, and use the vocabulary list that I give you as we progress. So that's what we're going to do, is review the premise. Does anybody know what the word premise is? Because I've never introduced that in class, the word premise.
The writing, or what Anna say?
Close. It's the context or situation. Like if you're going to watch a movie or read a book, someone might say, give me the premise. Well, here's the story. So it's the context of the situation. So we're going to make sure everybody is following along by understanding the main characters. So we've got Mohammed Barund, we've got Ishmahan, and then we've got a new character that comes into the middle of the story named Dr. Abakor. So there's a premise of these characters, and there's also the historical figures that come into the story as well. So we're going to review the premise at the beginning of class. So that's what this means at the top. Just review the premise so that everybody understands the story. Then we're going to answer last week's question with a storyboard exercise. So last night I experimented with a storyboard exercise that I've done before, but I'm going to use a different part of the story. So it'll involve a lot of listening and visual storytelling. Then we're going to go into, just before the break, we're going to discuss the relationship between Dr. Abakor and Muhammad, these two guys in prison side by side. And that's where we'll have a breakout room discussion. So after that, we'll take our 10-minute break. Then I'm going to review the second column of the vocabulary list that I gave everybody. So I gave everybody about 12 vocabulary words last week for the beginning. And there's about 12 more I'm going to review with everybody today to understand this next part of the story. And we're going to wrap everything up with a discussion about Ishmahan's perspective, because as the story unfolds, we look away from the life of Muhammad, who's stuck inside this terrible place, and look more at the life of Ishmahan, his wife, who he left behind when he went to prison. And that's where it's going to come full circle and tie in the characters in the book that he's reading. So that's what I meant by listen. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, watch the recordings of previous classes, because it's too much to reteach. So follow along as best you can. Everybody ready? Ready or not?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. So ready or not, this is where we left off last week. We had a breakout room discussion with this question. So there's Mohammed Barund. This is taken sometime circa 1981. They're a young couple, newly married. And Mohammed decides to publish a newsletter criticizing the government. So we discussed why in the world would he criticize the government. he gets himself thrown into solitary confinement. That means he's in a little tiny space by himself for the rest of his life. What is he going to do? Why did he do this? He could have been quiet. He didn't have to advertise his political opinions, but he did. And that changed the course of their lives forever. So here is a part of the transcript that I'd like to use to give everybody context. Why did he do it? Let's take a look at the transcript. We listened more last time, but let's look further at the transcript. And for this, I'd like to get a volunteer reader. And I remember to put the timestamp here. Anyone choose to volunteer?
Can I?
Absolutely. Is that Fatima?
Okay. Contribute because there are people who are who are less fortunate than us. Muhammad was in the stage of new love when you just kind of think the world is full of good feeling, and if everybody knew that was going on, they will do the right thing. And he takes his bold and pretty risky move. He writes a letter, some kind of newsletter about the hospital condition. Yes, and the condition of the country.
All right. Excellent. So that's a way to give the premise of the story. Somebody else who can explain the situation. This is the very beginning of the story, and we're looking at the premise. What exactly is happening here? Fatima just read, but I want to hear from somebody I haven't heard from in a while, just joined the party. Monica, Franertes, Andres, Perez. What's the premise of this story? What exactly is happening right now? This is the very beginning. Fatima, yes, go for it. Claudia, yes.
The governor cut the supplement to the hospital, so the doctor was telling to some friends, and Mohammed was one of them, about what was happening, that they don't have enough in the hospital and things like that. So that's
Yes,
why he say that maybe he explaining to other people, maybe other people can help.
exactly. That's part of it. So the doctor well, here's a question, Claudia. Did the doctor want Muhammad to write this letter to criticize the government?
No, he just was telling in secret what was happening.
Exactly. Good. So the doctor wanted to keep the hospital conditions secret. Excellent. Now, Claudia told us there's a secret, the conditions. Who remembers what exactly are those conditions in the hospitals and why?
They didn't have enough medicine or bedding, and it was I remember that government was punishing them.
Excellent job, Bibiana. Excellent. Now, who remembers the vocabulary word? It's really a phrase. Movement. What type of movement was happening in the city of Mogadishu?
Independence movement.
2 thumbs up for Bibiana. Yes, there was an independence movement in Somalia, starting in the big city. A lot of the educated young people were expressing their political opinions, their dissatisfaction with leadership. And as punishment, who remembers the dictator's name? It's a harder name to pronounce. The dictator's name is Syed Bar. So he's a military dictator. And it's a communist government, which means hospitals are funded entirely by government, completely. So one man has control over the supplies to the hospital. So centralized power, one man has control. People in the big city are making noise about the leadership. They're expressing their dissatisfaction. And as punishment, he cuts off the supplies to the hospital. Anybody goes to the hospital, there's no sheets on the beds, there's no medicine, nothing. So Dr. Abakor quietly tries to raise money. So he tries to raise money, but this young guy, Muhammad, he's not very quiet. Who wants to explain what's happening here? Why doesn't Muhammad quietly try to raise money? It says it right here in the transcript, exactly what Fatima just read.
What the question? Why he did
Yeah,
that?
why doesn't, well, exactly what Bibiana said is that the dictator cut off supplies to the hospital. That's his name, Syed Bar. He cut off the supplies to the hospital. The doctor, Abakor, wanted to raise money so the hospital could have medicine, but he wanted to do it quietly. And Muhammad, for whatever reason, he didn't want to be quiet at all. Exactly what Fatima just read. Muhammad said, I want to contribute to other people who are less fortunate than us. What would motivate Muhammad to do what the host of the show says was a bold and risky move? Why would he do that?
Because he feel love.
There we go. Let's get into that. Let's talk a little bit about love and how that plays into the story. Muhammad was in that stage of new love when you think the world is full of good. How does love factor into Muhammad's decision making? What types of decisions do people make when they fall in love?
He don't be afraid to make any decision because he feels strong, and that's why he go to the jail, because he didn't see the dangers, the thing that he did.
Exactly, Doris. He doesn't see how dangerous it is to express his political opinion under a military dictatorship. The doctor is an older gentleman, and he knows exactly what the danger is. But this young guy, Muhammad, he wants to tell the world what's wrong with the country, and he gets himself thrown in prison. Excellent. So I think right now, everybody pretty much understands the premise of the story. But just to solidify it and show you a model for you how we can both read and listen to the story at the same time, I put the timestamp right here. It's 1:39. So 1 minute and 39 seconds. That's the very, very beginning of the story. When you go into the link that I sent and you click on 1 minute and 39 seconds, here's what
the room was empty and there
1 minute and 39 seconds. Right about, you see these tools right here? That's forward and backward 15 seconds. So here we are. Muhammad was in the stage of new love.
music-loving dictator, his name was Siad Barre, he'd cut off supplies to the hospital in retaliation for an independence movement in the region. The doctor had been calling all his friends in secret.
Yeah, we were talking all the time.
Saying, you work for Pepsi, you have connections, you know people, can we raise the money discreetly ourselves? But Mohammed wanted to go big.
I suppose maybe I wanted to share my happiness.
What do you mean by share your happiness?
Contribute, because there were other people who were less fortunate than us.
Mohammed was in that stage of new love when you just kind of think the world is full of good feeling, and if everybody knew what was going on, they would do the right thing. And he takes this bold and pretty risky move. He writes a letter.
Some kind of newsletter.
About the hospital conditions.
Yes, and telling the conditions of the country.
Essentially implying that the dictator is not doing right by us, and we got to step up ourselves. A couple weeks later, Mohammed and Isman heard a knock on their door in the middle of the night.
National security people. They don't have no warrant or anything like that. They just said, we need to take him. And I could see her, my wife, and I remember her in her eyes.
What was in her eyes?
Love, but also terror.
Mohammed is accused of treason and sentenced to life in solitary confinement.
Blindfolded, handcuffed, and sent to a cell.
And this is where the story really begins. Mohammed's cell is tiny, maybe 6 feet by 6 feet, concrete walls, hole in the floor for a toilet, and a window high up that lets in just a little bit of light.
All right, so that's the premise of the story. This young man has got himself thrown into prison for the rest of his life. And he's got to figure out how to not lose his mind. Here is where the story of the book comes in. Now, at the beginning, I introduced two historical figures. So this is let's say the villain of the story, the military dictator who throws people in prison if they criticize him. And here is kind of an adjacent, distant figure of the story, this Russian writer who writes a famous book, big, thick, 800-page book that Mohammed reads while he is locked in this tiny room for years and years. And this book keeps him from going crazy. But there's a question I posed at the end of class last week. It is forbidden to talk to other prisoners, and most prisoners do not have books, any type of material. And I know most of us in the 21st century, we might have an affliction. We need to look at our phones every 5 minutes, right? Imagine being locked in a tiny room and all you have to entertain you is the roaches on the floor coming out of the toilet. That is the rest of your life. What's going to keep this man's mind from disappearing forever? So he's going to read this book. It's going to keep his mind focused. But how in the world is he going to read a book if he doesn't have a book in his cell? That's the question I posed at the end of class last week. So some of you know the answer already, but I'm going to, actually, you know what? I want to see who knows the answer and who doesn't. Everybody, type in the chat. Type in the chat right here, your answer to this question. How does he read a book if he doesn't have a book in his hands? How in the world is he going to read this book without holding the book? We're all having class right now, and we're in different places. So people are creative. We can find solutions to problems very easily, or not so easily. But people are remarkable. This guy is going to read a book without a book. How is he going to do it? Write in the chat your answer. I want to hear what everybody says. Don't shout it out if you know the answer. Just write it in the chat. How is he going to read a book if he doesn't have a book? Okay, I see one in the chat. I want to hear from everybody. So everybody who does not like turning their camera off, does not like speaking, this is your time to shine. Letitia, Anthony, Monica, Sandra, Andres, Israel, Vera, Franertes, please answer the question by writing in the chat.
I'm here, teacher.
Please answer the question by writing in the chat.
Okay.
How does he read a book if he doesn't have the book in the cell? Okay, I see 4 answers. Very interesting, very interesting. Okay, it looks like a lot of people got the general understanding. Okay. All right. Interesting, interesting. All right. Okay, so everybody who is not writing in the chat, I'm going to assume you are not here. Letitia, please write your answer in the chat. Thank you, Letitia. Andres, please write your answer in the chat. Israel, please write your answer. Marcella, please write your answer. Thank you, Israel. Thank you, Jackie. Oh, I just realized the timestamp was wrong. It's 14:12, not 4:12. Here we go. Okay, Marcella, are you here? Yes, no? Oh, yes, you're here. Thank you. Andres, are you here? Yes, no? Okay, I don't see anything in the chat, sir. No, you got to answer the question, Andres. I don't know what you're doing. You're showing me you have no idea what we're talking about. All right, so what we're going to do right now is this. We are going to do a storyboard exercise. This will require everybody has something to draw with and something to draw on. A piece of paper, a whiteboard, a napkin, a menu, I don't care. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give everybody 5 minutes and I'm going to play one scene from the story. All right. So you're going to draw what's happening to answer the question. How in the world does he read a book without the book? So draw a storyboard of what you hear, then hold up your picture to the camera. So everybody, this will require you to participate. So if you are not participating, I will just remove you from class because I'm tired of this unresponsive conversation. So if you do not want to do this, leave class right now. Okay, is that understood? Excellent. Everybody, grab one of these and grab one of these. All right. You're going to draw a storyboard of what you hear. So a storyboard, terrible drawing. It's supposed to be stick figures. This is the quality of drawing. See that? There's a person. See that? That's a sun. Everybody is capable of drawing that bad, okay? There's no way you could do it worse than me, all right? So everybody get ready. Grab something to draw with, grab something to draw on, and we'll get started, okay? Once you've got something to draw with and something to draw on, give me a thumbs up emoji. Okay, I see Jackie, she's ready to go. Israel, you ready to go? Good. Bibiana's ready to go. Anthony, you ready? Marcella, Andres, good. Gracie, you ready to go? You got something to draw with, something to draw on?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. So let's see. Okay, good. Yes, got it from everybody. Fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the timestamp right here where I'm going to play from. All right. So Muhammad's in danger of losing his mind. How does he read a book if he doesn't have a book in his cell? About a third of the way into the story, we find out. There's the timestamp 1412. So let's go to 14 minutes and 12 seconds. Here we go. Is everybody ready? Oh, and I'm also going to, while we play this, I'm going to turn on the closed captions. Here we are. Okay, so you should be able to see the closed captions. They won't be perfect, but there it is. Okay. How does he read a book if he doesn't have a book in his cell? Let's find out.
Sentence, and something happens. Dr. Adden is summoned to the office of the warden to get a change of clothes.
The room was empty and there was a bench and they asked you to sit on the bench. And then he asked one of the guards to go and bring your bag.
Just the whole bag with all your clothes, your books, everything.
Yeah. And then you open that bag and then he tells you to choose something new to wear.
Going crazy?
Yes.
Was making you crazy?
Yes, the fear. The fear was, playing to him through the wall and he's not going to go.
Adden is summoned to...
Okay, one vocabulary word I should actually tell you. The word warden, that's a leader of the prison. So I'm going to start again. Everybody, as you listen, you can start drawing. Here we go.
Into the office of the warden to get a change of clothes.
The room was empty and there was a bench and they asked you to sit on the bench. And then he asked one of the guards to go and bring your bag.
Just the whole bag with all your clothes, your books, everything.
Yeah. And then you open that bag and then he tells you to choose something new to wear. And you don't choose anything else.
He says, don't choose anything else.
No, that was the regulations.
The doctor's getting his first change of clothes since he arrived in prison. And so then you showed back 2 years later to choose your next t-shirt.
Yes.
But then the doctor turns to the warden. He looks him right in the eye.
Can I have one book? I said, that's all. Even I did not expect that he would agree to give me. So I just tried, And he said, yes, you can, but choose one of all of your books. So then I started thinking of the biggest book I can take with me.
A few minutes later, the doctor is walking back to his cell with the fattest book in his bag under his arm. You can picture him fantasizing about just getting to lie down and read. But when he returns to his cell, there's that sound at the wall.
It occurred to me the thought that why don't I read this book for him to the wall and distract the negative thoughts?
Meanwhile, Mohammed, on his side of the wall, hears a new set of taps.
I have a book, and I'll read it to you chapter by chapter. That's Anna Karenina.
Anna Karenina. Anna Karenina, the famous novel by Leo Tolstoy, published in 1878. The English translation that they're using is 800 pages, 350,000 words, nearly 2 million letters. Each letter, a set of taps. So the doctor prepares himself.
So to start, I took a piece of my bed sheet and I put it around my wrist.
Like he's prepping for a medical procedure, wrapping the sheet around his wrist and knuckle.
Because it will damage my wrist if I continue like that. So then I started knocking, and he started listening.
All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Everything was in confusion in the Oblonsky's house. The wife had discovered that the husband was carrying on.
What that book did to Mohammed's mind? When Rough Translation returns.
Okay, everybody, take your time, take your time. So I'll hope the closed captions helped, but that's what we're going to do right now. Take your time, finish up your storyboards, and remember, stick figures. We're not looking for beautiful pictures. Once you're finished, we're going to share one by one. What's happening in this story? How exactly is Mohammed going to read a book without a book? He doesn't have a book in his cell, but he's going to read a book. How does he do it? Take your time. I'll give everybody, I'll put a timer on my phone. I'll stop recording right here. I'll give everybody plenty of time. It's not a race. So I'm going to pause the recording. All right, excellent. So time's up. It looks like Jackie is really ready to go. Jackie, do you want to go first?
Yes, let me know if
Okay, yeah,
everybody
Jackie,
can.
okay, yep, Jackie, go for it. There's a lot happening in that picture. All right.
Okay. I think it begins. They're gonna change the clothes. That every 2 years they got a new T-shirt, and then they were sitting in a bench, and they receive the doctor choose a book from, I don't know, from the people.
Yep.
Of the jail people.
Yep.
And then he moves to his cell, and then he was reading, but at the same time Mohammed was sitting or in his cell too. So the doctor was knocking the wall to make sounds, choosing one sound for each letter or for each word. And then Mohammed knew a new language with the sound, so he could I don't know how to say it, understand. He could understand the book story from the other side. So
Fantastic. Wow, that is such a vivid story. And I loved how you added just a few words and you drew a t-shirt, new 2 years, because the doctor didn't get to change his clothes for 2 years. Can you imagine what that smelled like? Wow.
Yep.
Horrible situation. Excellent job. And I just posted in WhatsApp, once you finish sharing your story, please post your beautiful pictures on WhatsApp. So Jackie, that was fantastic. Would you please share in the WhatsApp group that story? It's fantastic. It's excellent. All right. Who's next? Jackie, you can choose anybody you want.
With the cameras turned on or?
Oh, that once you call their name, they must turn their camera on.
Okay.
I will remove, I have a remove button. I never use it except today I might.
Oh, no, Fatima, maybe she's ready.
She looks ready to go. Yeah, she's very excited, ready to go. Fatima, you've probably been up late. This is Ramadan.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for joining us right and early. Okay.
No, that's okay. Okay, I have the picture. I'm not good at drawing, but I will.
That's pretty good.
I do 2 rooms next to each other. Then I was a little bit confused because I thought is the Muhammad, he's not changing the clothes just why I put the t-shirt here. Okay, then I do like he's starting to use his mind because he was thinking a lot. He was showing the the darkness of the room. Okay, then the doctor, he found he was thinking about him, and he want to he's starting to thinking about how he's gonna solve him. Then he start to find how you gonna communication with he's gonna start communication with him with not talking because he doesn't want risk for him, I think. Okay, and he start tapping. I put tap. He found how he's gonna talk with him. Then Muhammad, he start to understand him by tapping the wall. I think he found how he's gonna communicate, the way how they gonna communication together. Yeah, that's
Excellent. So yeah, a minute ago, I just asked Jackie, please share your beautiful pictures in the WhatsApp group. We should, by the time we have a break, our WhatsApp group should be filled with storyboards. It will be fantastic.
Yeah, she's good drawing. Thank you.
Oh, so are you. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yes, Andres, it looks like you want to go next. Yay, Andres. By the way, none of you have seen this guy. If you haven't seen him in person, he never turns his camera on. He's a good looking guy.
Thank you. So I was just able to catch this part where he said that he was walking to the sub and he started hearing the knock on the wall. And I believe he was using the Morse code to be able to communicate with him so he could read like a sign hand to hear what he was reading about, so he could read the book too, basically.
Nice. He used the word Morse code, M-O-R-S-E. That's an old language of taps from a telegraph system. These guys weren't using Morse code. They made up their own language, basically.
Oh,
in this prison.
Yeah, it looks much alike.
Yeah, it was basically like learn the alphabet A. So it's a little bit harder than Morse code. So
yeah,
this poor guy, all they know is they're fairly well educated. They speak their own language, but they're communicating with a little bit of English. And he's reading a book in English, translated from Russian, just tapping one letter at a time. Wow.
So I could,
Good work.
and
Oh,
I was
is
trying.
that a light at the top?
No, this is a bathroom.
Oh, pretty good. Pretty
The
good.
bathroom in the bed. I was trying to catch this part, but I couldn't. It was too
Pretty
fast for me.
good. Nice work, Andres. Yes.
Thank you.
Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. Good work. I
Thank
won't
you.
bother you for the rest of the today. I promise. Usually when I see your mic and your camera off, I say, hey, Andres, I'm like bothering you. I promise not to bother you for the rest of the day. Great
It's
job.
okay.
I'll leave
Thank
you
you.
alone for the rest of today. Good work, my friend. Who wants to go next? Oh, yes,
Me,
and
teacher.
Andres, you can share. Oh, yes. Thank you, Jackie. Oh, Letitia's got one. Oh, yes, and Fatima, share. Okay, so next up, Fraternities is ready to go. All right.
Teacher, but my dress is very simple. Very simple.
Pretty good. Okay.
Look,
All right.
it's about
Okay,
the
we got
man.
something. We got something happening here. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, it's the book, it's the word. I put the women because in that moment when he read the book, he remember his her wife, his wife.
Yeah. Ishmahan, yes.
Yes, for that reason.
Beautiful.
You
No,
like,
that's
teacher.
I haven't seen a student bring Ishmahan into the story yet. And that's very important because that's one of the reasons his mind is going crazy. He doesn't know where his wife is. His wife doesn't know where he is. He's losing his mind. Yes.
Yes.
Very good work. Fraternities. Nice. Who's next?
You
Hey, Doris.
know. This is my language.
Hey.
I put the doctor
Mm-hmm.
and I put the calendar and the book here, and I put the is going crazy right here because you don't know about her height, and
Yeah.
in the wall is the ABC, and
Yes.
this is the window, and the doctor has a t-shirt in her hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I put the sun and the moon.
I love the detail of the sun and the moon because
Yeah.
it's one of the things that makes people in solitary confinement so crazy is they don't know what time of day it is.
Yes.
Very nice work. Oh, good job. Good job. Okay, who's next? We have many choices. We've heard.
Me, teacher.
I think,
Lottie.
Claudia, I think Israel raised his hand a little bit faster. Let's do Israel, then Claudia. Go for it, Israel.
Clara, if you want, you can go first. I can be after you. Ladies
Okay,
first.
sure, Claudia, go for it.
Thank you. Okay, let me put camera. All right. So here is the warden and the doctor.
Yeah.
And the warden have a big bag with all the pertinence of the doctor, and he has clothes and book. And the doctor only has one opportunity to choose only one thing of the bag.
Yeah.
So he was thinking that it was impossible that he give you the book, and he was confused if the warden was agree with give to him the book, but finally he said, yes, you can take a book, it's fine. And he was thinking which one he want to choose because he want to get a big book to go back to the little room. So he chose the big book that he saw, and he was walking, to the cell is the name, the cell. And he was thinking that he can read that book for Mohammed because, Mohammed was thinking that he can, he was losing his mind. So the doctor team was a good idea, read the book for his friend. And they start knocking the wall and reading the book. And that's my history. The others drawing was really cute, and mine is like
No. I think you're gonna get a lot of likes when you
Yes, you good.
everybody's pictures are well received in the group. You can throw it up there. We haven't heard from Letitia yet, but she already posted hers. There's a lot going on in Letitia's. Israel, you're next. Letitia, you want to go after Israel? I just saw yours here. Israel, take it away.
Right here. Look.
Whoa, there's a
everything.
lot
Oh, perfect.
happening.
Last one, the good one.
Move it to the middle here. The middle where we see it in the camera. To the middle. Up,
Nice.
up a little bit. Okay, now show us what you
Wow.
got. All right.
Perfect.
It's too hard.
Okay. There's a lot happening there. I think we definitely, if maybe send a picture right now to the WhatsApp group so we can see.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look into Israel. All right, thank you, Claudia. Nice work. Okay, I'm looking at it, Israel. So there we go. I see it. All right, there's a lot happening here.
Nice.
Okay.
So start to talk. So in the beginning,
Yes, talk.
in the beginning of the picture,
Yeah.
the guy is going to the dirty clothes because he's old and he's feeling sad because he had to change every 2 years. And he's going with the guard, and the guard have a box with clothes, shoes, and books.
Mhm.
So he choose one, and he's going to have it back to the jail, to the prison cell. So he's going to the prison cell. When when he's going inside, he start to talk in the wall, and the prison neighbor start to talk with him through the wall too. So they start to communicate with sounds.
Very nice. Very nice. Oh, here's a quick question. Who knows why does he tap? Why doesn't he just read the book aloud?
Because it's prohibited in the prison.
Yes.
It's prohibited to make sounds with talk.
Yes, exactly. The guards were listening. They're not allowed to talk to each other. So they created their own secret language, just tapping. Excellent. Letitia's ready to go.
Yeah,
All right.
this is my
Okay.
picture. And this is the doctor think about how he give his information to Muhammad. And he gave his idea, and he walked on the side. And this is at security, and he passed with his book for there. And this is the doctor talk in the air, and he is Mohammed. You see the big here because he put attention, and his break increased because he learned a lot of. This is my story.
Very well done. Very well done, Letitia. Let's see. I think we've heard almost everybody in perfect timing, almost at the break. Okay, we've not heard from Anthony, Monica.
Me.
Oh no, we've got a lot more people.
Teacher,
Gracie,
teacher,
go
my
for
camera isn't available. I don't know.
it. Okay, well, you could still post it in the WhatsApp group. That's okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's hear from Gracie, and then we'll take a break. Gracie, go for it.
Okay, mine is
crazy, you know, it's,
Hey,
let me see
Gracie.
if you can appreciate here. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. I can see it. There's a lot going. It's a little fuzzy. Maybe tilt your. There it is. Perfect. Perfect. Not perfect. Yes. Now we can see what's happening. Wow.
You can see two cells together, and you can see the office where he went to open the bag. And here you see a big book over there. And I think they have their own world. I close them in a cycle because they are living their own story. You see many cells, but they are out of, and they have a zone between the both because they got allied by the book. It's imaginary, but they got it. See?
Life by the book. Is that what you said?
They got allied. It's a zone between them because it's the book. They are creating their own world.
Yes.
They are out of that set.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. Thank you so much, Gracie. Yeah, that book is taking them somewhere else, away from that hell that they're living in. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful work, everybody. I love it. I love it. Bibiana just posted something interesting. Let's see. Well, it's 11 o'clock right now. Let's take a break. Everybody, you can post your picture on WhatsApp. Let's take a break. 10 minutes. Good work, everybody. Here we go. I'm going to.
Teacher, did you send my message for WhatsApp?
I did.
Okay. Okay.
Up. I did. Absolutely. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to post. Okay, here it is. All right. 10-minute stopwatch. Here we go.
When you're long.
All right, everybody. I'll see you in 10.
When you stay at a Verbo, the host doesn't stay with you. Because without privacy in your vacation home, it isn't really a vacation, is it?
Después de Advil.
A trabajar otra vez. ¿Cómo estás del cuello? Listo.
recording. All right, here's what we did at the beginning of class. We reviewed the premise of the story. We used the storyboard exercise to look at last week's question. How in the world does he read a book if he doesn't have the book? And if you notice that everybody in the WhatsApp group posted a different picture, some have not shared yet. And of course, ooh, nice, Vera, most recent picture posted. Nice job, Sandra. Nice. All right, this is fascinating. Javier, looking good. And yes. Cool. So yeah, certainly we can give everybody time to share their picture. And then I do want to get into a little bit of this, the relationship between Dr. Abakor and Muhammad, and have a little breakout room, and then give everybody some vocab and a chance to look at Ishmahan, the story from her perspective. So that's our agenda for today. I want to look at their relationship, give some vocabulary, and look at Ishmahan's perspective in this story. Does anybody want to share their picture next, who didn't get a chance before the break? Bibiana, go for it. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Bibiana, it is all yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay, this is my picture. I don't know if you can see. So that's the wall. And here is the doctor. He's happy coming after being able to pick up a book, the biggest one. And then he heard the knocks in the wall. And then he's saying, oh, I have a good idea. Because he's going to start reading the book for Mohammed, who is in the other side of the wall. And that's it.
Nice work. Cool. Anybody else want to share? I'm not going to, we've had plenty. Everyone's participation has been great, so I'm not going to force anybody. Anybody else want to share? Going once?
Yes, me.
Vera, let's see it.
Okay. Give me a second while I turn my camera.
No problem.
Can you see me? Hi.
Hey, girl.
So, here or some problem with my camera?
Actually, hold it back just a little bit. Everybody, Vera posted hers in the group, so if you can't see it in her camera, you can see it. You can see it on your phone.
No.
Yeah, your picture is really nice. It's okay. Yeah, you can just put the camera down and talk. We can see it on our phones.
Okay.
You can keep your camera on. I've never seen you before. I didn't know what you look.
I do what I can.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were. Now I know you're not a bot. An imaginary student. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is cool. Though this wall, it's like a zigzag line. I love it. Yeah, Vera, keep talking. You muted.
Oh,
you
okay.
muted
So
yourself. Yeah.
on the right is the is the doctor, right? So he's making a way to communicate to the other that in a specific note maybe each word or phrase, I guess. So yeah, and that's all. I guess that they used to try it in a specific note. Yeah, give a specific word or letter. That case.
No, I like that kind of jagged wall that zigzag. What I'm doing with my finger that you drew. It's really nice. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else?
Me, Sandra.
Sandra, yes, I see your picture here as well. Nice.
Okay. This is my picture. This is my dog. And he found a love and he was very happy and very excited. He wanted to share his happiness with, I don't know who, but the dictator found the letter and sent him to cell. And he was very sad and thought a lot about his girlfriend, and he thought very bad suicide thoughts, and his doctor tried to make him better and read Anna Karenina's story and create a new code for communicate with him. And that's the story. Thanks.
Nice. Now I see a name I don't recognize up here on the Zoom profile. Javier posted something interesting. But I don't recognize the name Javier. I was wondering where that came from. Okay, mystery student. All right, Anthony, you want to share? Okay, so we'll move along, and in a quick breakout room, I'm going to get everybody to discuss a question about the doctor and Muhammad and their relationship. So this guy, Dr. Abakor, he's really, in a sense, saving Muhammad's mind. He could just lie there and read the book and enjoy himself and ignore Muhammad, but instead he's going to all of this trouble to tap each letter of each word on each page, this entire book, to give Muhammad this sense of escape in this horrible place. And it's a kind thing to do, but in a sense, the doctor has a little bit of reason not to be happy with Muhammad. Muhammad is the one who started making a lot of noise. We don't know, you know, we see that we know he was young, he was in love, he was impulsive. The doctor knew it was a dangerous situation to be expressing his political opinion, you know, in a really dangerous situation. But at the same time, this guy, Dr. Abakor, is really going out of his way to help his neighbor, literally his neighbor. They're on the other side of the wall. And let's take a look at the relationship between the two. In the evening class last night, Bibiana, Doris, and Fatima, we looked at this a little bit, but we're going to look deeper right now. Why exactly is Dr. Abakor helping Muhammad when he has reason not to be happy with Muhammad at all? He has reason to be very upset with Muhammad. So I'm going to play this section right here on about 13 minutes in.
He was all laughing. They just say, "Oh, these guys are."
Here we go. So this is explaining the secret language. Here we go.
Guys are also losing their sanity.
Who learned the knocking language?
Well,
described that nighttime arrest as a moment of got to the prison. It was the one who'd called him up and asked him for donations. He did not, on the other side of the wall, was a doctor. Dr.
Okay, so there it is. It was actually about 10 minutes in. So there it is. Whoop, gotta refresh this page. Hold on one moment. Okay, there we are.
really hate her at that particular time.
Every time that Muhammad tapped one of these dark thoughts onto the wall, someone was listening, and the someone on the other side of the wall was a doctor. Dr. Aden Abakor is also an inmate in this prison. And as the doctor's listening to these taps on the wall, he's also diagnosing them.
Acute anxiety here.
Okay, so there it is. So this doctor is actually doing his job as a doctor. He diagnoses him with anxiety. It says Muhammad is suffering from anxiety. Here we go. Right about here. Every time Muhammad taps one of these dark thoughts on the wall, someone was listening.
Someone was listening, and the someone on the other side of the wall was a doctor. Dr. Aden Abakor is also an inmate in this prison. And as the doctor's listening to these taps on the wall, he's also diagnosing them.
Acute anxiety here. He was telling me these symptoms through the wall.
I should tell you that Dr. Aden and Muhammad were actually friends before prison.
Yeah.
The doctor was the director of the public hospital, the one who'd called him up and asked him for donations. He did not ask Muhammad to write that letter complaining about the hospital conditions.
Because there were no press allowed, no newspapers, no free press. And that's the moment the government decided that they should do something about us.
But if the doctor blamed Muhammad for writing the letter that got them both thrown in prison, he didn't show it. Every time that Muhammad knocked, whatever the hour, the doctor would knock back.
He used to have these nightmares. So he jumps, he has a nightmare, and then he knocks on the wall again. So I have to wake up and then again start conversation, so that he can fall asleep again. Just like a baby, taking a baby to bed and making him fall asleep,
If Dr. Aden seems fairly unsentimental about some of the more dramatic aspects of Muhammad's life,
just like a baby,
it's partly that these two men are such different personalities. While Muhammad described that nighttime arrest as a moment of shock and terror, Dr. Aden seems to have met those same secret police with a bag, packed and ready for prison, a bag of clothes and lots of books.
Huh?
Why books?
Books is the best friend in a prison.
But then when you got to the prison, it was taken away, the bag.
Everything was taken away. Even our glasses were taken away.
So does everybody understand an important detail of the story that you may have missed the first time? So where did that book come from? Was it just sitting in the warden's office? Did the prison just happen to have a bunch of books in English?
No.
Exactly. The doctor knew he would be arrested.
Yes, he
Yes,
was ready.
Once Muhammad, wrote that newsletter, making him and everybody else a target, the doctor said, okay, here we go. He knew what was going to happen. All right, good job, kid. You're getting us all in trouble. So he knew that these secret police, national security, whoever, were going to come and lock them all away. So this doctor is like, okay, time to go to prison. And he just packs up a bunch of books that he happened to have on a shelf.
Yeah.
He's an older gentleman. He's like, all right, stupid kid, writes a letter, gets us all in trouble. I got my books, take me to prison. And then, of course, they go to prison, everything's taken away. And then the warden shows a little compassion, says, fine, you can take one book to yourself. So the whole time they're there, possibly it looks like they're there because of him, because of Muhammad. He's the one who opened up his mouth, who expressed his political opinion. He's not in America. You can't just say what you want to say about the government. What do you think you're doing, Muhammad? But he was young and he was in love. And that's essentially the premise of this story. You do crazy things when you're young and in love, right? So why isn't this doctor angry at Muhammad? Or why isn't he at least showing a little bit of frustration? Because it seems like the natural human thing to do. If somebody does something foolish and gets you locked up for the rest of your life, normal people would be a little bit angry, right? But instead, this doctor is doing everything he can to comfort this young man. So imagine you have an older gentleman and a younger gentleman. The young man is going crazy. He's got anxiety. He's losing his mind. And this doctor is on the other side, helping him, making sure he's okay. Why is he doing this? Why doesn't he just say, kid, I don't care if you lose your mind. We're here because of you. I got my book. Leave me alone. He's not.
He's my hero. He's my hero at this story.
They were friends before the prison, so they were
There we
close
go.
friends. So that's why.
You're both onto something. That's what I want to send everybody into breakout rooms quickly to discuss now. Why is Dr. Abakor helping him? Why isn't he more angry at Muhammad, or at least showing that he's angry? Let's go into quick breakout rooms right now. So the question for the breakout rooms, why is Dr. Abakor helping this young man? Why isn't he angry at him? Here we go. Let's go into, I'll make 3 breakout rooms. Does everybody understand the question? Why is this doctor helping Muhammad?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. Thing here. Okay, so follow me with the presentation. Here we go. Warden.
Warden.
Exclusive.
Exclusive.
Quranic.
Quranic.
Sheikh.
Sheikh.
Diagnosing.
Diagnosing.
Unsentimental.
Unsentimental.
Secret police.
Secret police.
Secret police.
Cell.
Cell.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
Dissatisfaction.
Dissatisfaction.
Confinement.
Confinement.
All right, so we recently, this is where I'll actually call upon a few students who were, I'll mute everybody real quick. Here we go.
Noisy.
Okay, yep, okay, so I'm gonna call upon a few students who are in my evening class. Well, I'll give the definition of this. Warden is like the head of a prison. The warden generously gave Dr. Abakor one of his own books, because they took everything away when they came to the prison. Even their glasses were taken away. But the warden was kind and said, okay, take one book. These 2 words, exclusive and Quranic verses, this is used in the same phrase in the story. Doris, Fatima, and Bibiana are familiar with these 2 phrases in the story. Fatima, Bibiana, Doris, you want to explain exclusive?
Yes.
Go for it.
The unique.
Yes, unique. So this is, I'm actually doing this from memory because now I've listened to the story so many times. Divorce was the exclusive right of the husband. So this comes up in the story right about 10 minutes in. So in a traditional Muslim society, according to Sharia law, to get a divorce, the women are supposed to get the permission from their husband. It's just like a get in a Jewish culture. However, Ismahan is in a weird situation. Ismahan doesn't know where her husband is. If she's going to decide to move on with her life and leave him and, marry somebody else or just live her life without Muhammad, she doesn't know if he's dead, if he's alive or what. But this dictator, Syed Bar, actually used these. Most communist dictators prohibit religion, but this dictator used religion to his advantage. let's see, Bibiana or Fatima, can you explain Quranic verses?
Yes, it's a text from a Islamic book, Quran.
Yes, so the Quran is it's a holy book. The scripture for Islam is very similar to the Bible. In fact, some stories are in the beginning are overlap with the Bible. But the dictator used Quranic verses to encourage women to divorce their husbands. Fatima, you want to explain in context what the government was doing, kind of twisting the religion around for their benefit?
Yeah, they use Quranic verses to force women to divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah. I want to explain it in English. You use something against, right, teacher?
Exactly.
Against it.
Exactly. So I think most people here have some kind of religious background, and you can kind of recognize for Christians, you've probably come into a situation in your life where somebody uses the Bible to rationalize something really insane.
Yeah.
And manipulate people.
Yes.
That's what's happening here in Somalia. And here's the word sheik. Whoop. So the word
sheik.
Sheik.
Is that
Diana, do you remember the word sheiks from last night?
It's a tribal leader.
Beautiful. I'm so proud of my evening students. Everybody's remembering the vocabulary. So yes, so Doris and Fatima and Bibiana, who were with me last night, you've recalled all the vocabulary. So yes, tribal leaders. So the government encouraged, the government used sheiks, tribal leaders, used sheiks, S-H-E-I-E-I-K, sheiks, to encourage these women to divorce their husbands. And these Quranic verses were strange because the idea is that a woman should not divorce her husband without permission unless the husband disappears for a long time. Well, of course, all these men were disappeared for a long time. Why?
because in a prison?
Yeah, because the government took them away.
Yeah, and the woman, the wife, she does know nothing, nothing about her husband.
Exactly. Yes. So this dictator, even though he's a communist, he somehow likes to use religion to his benefit. Communists are supposed to be atheists, but not this guy. So a lot dictators pick and choose which rules they follow. So the word diagnosing, the doctor is diagnosing Muhammad. What is diagnosing? Anybody? Because we just heard that in context.
Illness?
Yeah, Monica said illness. But how use the word diagnosing in a sentence?
When the doctor determines something, you had problem for determine something.
Yeah, it's explaining the patient's situation. To diagnose the patient, it's to identify the condition of the patient.
Condition of the patient.
Yep. Now, the doctor seemed unsentimental. He didn't. He talked about Muhammad like he was a baby. He said, yeah, he was just acting like a baby. It was like putting a baby to sleep.
Show feelings.
Yeah, he had a kind of very cold memory of Muhammad. Even though he helped this man keep his memory, he was just like, yeah, it was like I was tapping on the wall. He would just whine and cry, and I tapped on the wall, and it was like putting a baby to sleep. So that's kind of the way the doctor's just like, yep, I remember. He would scream on the other side of the wall, and I'd tap, tap, tap to put him back to sleep, like a baby. So he's unsentimental. And you could kind of see why, because Muhammad was the reason they were in prison. And I think these words we don't need to go over. Secret police. That's the dictator's. Whoops. You can kind of figure that out. Police that are secret. So yeah, the dictator's personal army, secret police. The cell, that's the place they're in. Uncertainty, not knowing. Dissatisfaction, unhappiness. Confinement, being trapped, to be confined. So they're in solitary confinement. All right, so if you want to watch the recording of this class to go over these vocabulary words, I recommend it. Otherwise, let's wrap up today by looking at another major character of the story, and her name is Ishmahan. What in the world is she supposed to do? So now, to make a long story short, Ishmahan is now in a difficult position. Her community and the government is encouraging her to divorce Muhammad. He's disappeared, move on with your life. She doesn't know where he is. She's clearly angry and frustrated, but she doesn't know what's going on. But she's got all this political and social pressure to just divorce Muhammad, move on with her life, and forget he never existed. Muhammad, in the beginning of the story, he had these feelings of anger. Why isn't she coming to see me? Where is my wife? She should know I'm here. And you could tell he's very young and naive. Of course, she doesn't know you're there. Nobody knows you're there. So this book is going to change Muhammad's mind and help him look at his situation a lot differently. And that's what we're going to explore for the end of class. So Bibiana, you have actually read this book yourself, this entire 800-page book. Is that correct?
Anna Karenina, no, but I read a big one, yes.
Okay, so the story Anna Karenina is about a woman who is kind of scorned from society because she has an affair, and it ends. And a lot of the story, part of the story is narrated by this woman and looks at the perspective of how a woman is trapped in Russian society. And as Muhammad is sitting in this cell, he starts to put himself in the perspective of this main character. And then he starts to feel empathy for his wife, Ishmahan, and recognize what's going on the outside. So I'm going to skip right up about right up to just about 60% of the story. Here we go.
My Father is the largest Cambodian film to MTV.
We're back with a rough translation. I'm Gregory Warner. The day that the novel Anna Karenina.
Okay, so here it is. I guessed right. So there it is. Now that Muhammad is able to keep his mind busy and escape into the story, we're going to see how this story changes Muhammad's life.
Entered their lives, marked a new phase for Muhammad and the doctor. Each morning, Dr. Aden would carefully wrap his hand and open the novel. Muhammad, on his side of the wall, would listen.
When he was dressed, Stepan Arkadyevich sprinkled some scent on himself.
Although it was only knocking, but it brought the whole story to me.
Cigarette, pocketbook, matches, and watch with its double chain and seals, and, shaking out his handkerchief, feeling himself clean, fragrant, healthy, and physically at ease in spite of his unhappiness, he walked with a slight swing on each leg into the dining room where coffee was already waiting for him.
If it's been a while since you cracked open Anna Karenina, here's what you need to know. Anna is a noblewoman in 19th century Russia. She's married to a man much older than herself. She goes to a ball in a black velvet dress lined with lace and falls in love with a soldier, Count Vronsky. He's kind of a rich boy, careless in love. Mohammed immediately hates him.
It's because he's also in uniform, and I was hating anything in uniform. Actually, this is very important, really. Yeah. I mean, I really felt that.
Right, he's in the military, and you were in a military prison.
Yeah, I was in military prison, definitely.
So you really didn't like Vronsky.
No.
So anyway, the soldier, Vronsky, he steals Anna's heart. He gets her pregnant, even though she's still married to the other guy. And then Anna makes a choice that really changes everything. Because instead of having a secret affair, like all the others in her social set, she makes her love public. She leaves her husband. And society, the Russian nobility, cut her off. They isolate her. Vronsky is a man, so he's pretty much able to go on with his life as before. But Anna is realizing how alone she is. She's staying in her room, wondering what Vronsky's up to when he's not with her.
Okay.
Just the same as Mohammed was wondering what his wife was doing outside the prison walls. Mohammed reads me this one sentence from the book.
If you loved her, if he loved her, he would understand all the difficulty of her situation, and he would rescue her from it.
If he loved her, he would rescue her from her situation. It's interesting because Anna is trapped by views about women and maybe desire and all, but you were trapped by real walls.
Yeah.
He says it didn't matter how different their lives seemed on the outside. Inside,
she was suffering all the time.
He felt exactly like Anna. He also was jealous, crazily jealous, and also hating himself for being jealous. And all of a sudden, he meets this fictional character who is suffering in exactly the same way. And this suffering is driving her into a state that Mohammed most feared for himself.
Going to a certain area in my mind when I would commit suicide without knowing, without wanting to.
So it's now 750 pages into the book, and 2 months have passed since the doctor first started tapping the book letter by letter. Anna and Vronsky are now living in Moscow, and it's summer, so it's hot and suffocating. And on this particular day, Vronsky is off visiting his mom, which Anna hates because she thinks she's trying to set him up with a young princess. And Anna is in this state of mind where she both thinks that she's a burden to Vronsky and she thinks he'd be better off without her, but also she wants him to suffer her absence the way she's suffering. It's in this state that Anna finds herself walking down a train platform. The train is hurtling down the tracks, and this thought possesses her.
She knew what she had to do. With a rapid, light step, she went down the steps that led from the tank to the rails and stopped quite near the approaching train.
As Mohammed is listening to this, and he's thinking about what she is about to do,
I really cried. I felt for her.
But he realizes his tears are not just for Anna.
That's when I remember my wife. And
he's remembering Ismahan, his wife.
How much she's suffering. And yes, the book's the one that brought me back to think about her a lot.
And he finds himself asking a question that in 2 years in prison, he has not asked himself before.
Did I do well in those few months we were together?
Had he been a good husband?
Yeah. Did I treat her as she deserved?
And instead of thinking she's left him and also hating himself for thinking that she's left him, he's thinking, why did he take himself away from her by writing that stupid newsletter?
Maybe we could have done it in a different way.
That letter that got them all thrown in prison.
Maybe we could have talked to them.
And putting himself in his wife's shoes like that, it kind of took him out of his own misery.
I'm going to stop it right here. I'm going to stop sharing. How exactly is this book changing Mohammed? Because he's going through a profound transformation just by listening to the tapping and not reading this book through hearing tapping through the wall. It's changing him in a profound way. What's going on with this guy?
He solved his feeling from maybe from sadness and sad and thinking a lot about stuff natural, like his wife not thinking about him and stuff like that. Maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, it's taking himself out of himself.
Yes.
Any other thoughts? We got one more minute. We can call it a day. So this book is really transforming Muhammad, and he's becoming a different person. You're going to see at the end of the story, he's totally changed because of this book.
Yeah, because he's changing his perspective. So now he's not thinking just about himself, he's thinking also about his wife. How does she feel?
Exactly. Wonderful, wonderful. Suddenly, for the first time, as he's been, sitting there feeling sorry for himself, he's recognizing, wait a minute, what's going on with her on the outside? Was I a good person when I was with her? All right. So yes, it's a beautiful story. We're going to wrap it up.
Yes, I love the story actually.
Good. I'm so happy. So we're gonna finish we're gonna get to the very end of the story on Thursday. All right. We're gonna get to the very end. We're almost there. Okay. So have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
And I'm going to
teacher.
post the recording. This is a great class, everybody. I'm going to post the recording in a minute. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.